Hi, hello everyone. In this class, we are going to learn about the EA course. So, we have already started the batch. This is a demo session. Based on this video, you can decide what is our teaching style, how we train our students, how we train the MCQ, what are the techniques we use in teaching. Basically, I have based these things while I am talking to the students. I got to know that there is no proper coaching for EA in detailed manner, like giving the more exam, training each and every MCQ. Uh, there is no academic style of teaching, academic style of coaching for this EA. We came across these things. We discussed with the most of the students from different places, and we got to know we should establish a different style of teaching, style of coaching for EA, and we have started the special batch, so which is a sure success batch. The specialities of this batch is we train each and every concept and giving the examples to that concept, and we teach to the students the scratch level. We assume that student don't know anything accordingly, and in our batch we have a student with the intermediate qualification, +2 qualification. We have a students with a degree completed student, graduated student, and we have a students who are CA dropouts, means they have completed a CA inter. We have a students with a CA final category students, and we have also students who have completed. We have a students of different category, and they have a different knowledge backgrounds. We consider every student and we teach accordingly, and we start with the concept with the scratch level. We take that concept to the high end detail level, so very helpful to your exams. I assure you, after listening to my classes, you definitely able to answer each and every MCQ. I personally, I literally in my classes, I teach around the 2000 MCQs. I prepared my material, also MCQs based on Hawk passkey. Also, we are the authorized members of Hawk. Have an agreement with the Hawk. So we can use that Hawk MCQ. So I changed the Hawk material and I give examples in a detailed manner. I have prepared some material. I also give the material, and I provide one demo class, the starting chapter. You can see this chapter number 2, but if you see the passkey, Hawk is the chapter number 1. The name of the chapter is primary work with the preliminary work with the taxpayers data. What is this preliminary work? Also, what data should collect from the taxpayer? All those things, due dates, filing status, forms, all these things we're going to learn in this chapter. I have designed this chapter in a sequential manner, and I have prepared this material based on the Hawk. Also, I give every examples. So let's start the topic. So by explaining each and every topic, you will get the clarity is the method of teaching. Also, MCQ section. I have divided the each and every concept into topics, and for the topics we have MCQs. We break down the MCQs into two types. So one is the classroom test, and another one is the classroom test, and another one is the practice test. What is classroom test? CT is the classroom test. Is the classroom test. In this classroom test, I give different examples to the concept. I have divided the each and every concept into topics. For each and every topic, I give examples, and based on the examples, I prepare MCQs in the classroom. You can easily solve that examples. I will explain that MCQ in the classroom, and also I give access. We have an application. You have a free access to this application. So if you log into the application, either you can log into the application either through phone or through laptop. You can see topic number 1, use of prior returns. That is my topic number 1. I will explain right now. CT. What is CT? CT means classroom test. I have explained each and every MCQ regarding the topic in the classroom, and also I give access. So after completion of class, you need to practice. by yourself. You have already listened that MCQ, have already learned that MCQ in the classroom. After completion of class, practice that MCQ by your own. And what is PT? PT is also same topic number 1, PT, use of prior returns. This is also on topic number 1, but it is a similar MCQs. We have already discussed some MCQs in the classroom. Based on that concept and based on that MCQs, I have changed something and I have given the PT. That PT is also prepared by me. You can easily answer PT MCQs after learning CT. What is the first stage? You have to learn CT, thereafter practice PT, practice test. After practicing CT, you get 100% knowledge on this topic. I assure that if any questions from the any question come in the exam from this topic, definitely answer. They will not go beyond this. That is the care I have taken. So let's start the concept. What is our first topic? Our first topic is previous data. So what is this previous data? So you all know you are a EA professional. So technically you are a tax preparer. You need to file a return for the taxpayer. That is your client. So your client came to you and you need to file a return. This is you. You are a tax preparer. And one of the client came to you. You all know we are discussing part 1, individuals. So individual client, Mr. A. He came to you. You are Mr. X. He is a taxpayer for the tax preparer. So he came to you. You need to file a return. File a tax return. This is the scenario. What is the first thing you need to do? First thing you need to do is collecting some information. Let's take one example. So we are a CA candidate. After actually while we have articleship in the first day. It is the first day of my articleship. So we have a boss. So our boss called me. He asked me to file fines from tax return. This is the first day of my office. First IPC, that is CA enter right now. Literally shocked. I don't know anything. Don't know how to file the return. He asked me to file the return. One of my asked from tax. Simply replied, take the previous year income tax return, change the dates, change the amount, over. I literally shocked. Things income tax, taking the heights of the income, calculating the gross total income and adjusting the deductions. After deductions, to apply the slab rates. Thereafter, we get the tax, and to the tax we need to adjust reliefs, rebates, all those things. Simply said, take the previous year data, previous year return, and adjust the years and adjust the amounts and adjust the tax rates. You will get the tax amount. Really shocked. That is the difference between the practice and academics. So I understood that okay, the previous year data is the key. First, you need to ask the client, where is your previous year tax return? Have you filed or have you not filed? If you have filed the previous year tax return, take that return. First, study that previous year data. Why you need to study the previous year data? Why you need to study? While preparing tax returns for the clients, tax professionals, that is you, are expected to diligently gather and verify all necessary taxpayers' information. You need to get the taxpayers' information. Yes, of course, you need to get the taxpayers' personal information also. That is our topic number 2. This is our topic number one, before asking personal information, that is his address, status, marital status, we need to ask the first previous year data, previous year's information. So this includes reviewing previous year's tax returns for accuracy, completeness, and compliance with the tax law. First of all, you need to ask the client to me the previous year tax return. Take that previous year tax return, carefully study the previous year tax. Why? Why I need to study previous year tax return? First of all, if any errors are there in the previous year tax return, okay, I have found one error or one mistake in the previous year tax return. Give one example. While I am while I'm in the articleship, I have found out some error. Is the one of the top company. We are the auditors for the top company. I am the article assistant. The audit. First day of the audit, senior gave me the previous year's tax return. I asked him to verify because that closing balances or the opening balances of the current year. So I am verifying the closing balance. And just verified that I have identified that there is a signature, that is our boss signature, has signed that financial statement, and also he has a stamp is over there. I am verifying slowly. I verified that depreciation chart. So there is a blunder mistake in the depreciation chart. There is a calculation error. Maybe they have used the Excel. In that Excel, they have made some calculation or adjustment carry forward formulas. One link is missed. That's why that there is the entire calculation wrong. I have found that depreciation is wrong, the double DV is wrong. That double DV is the closing double DV, that becomes our opening double DV. Everything got wrong. And I found that error and rushed out to the boardroom. There, our boss and directors are sitting there and they are discussing something, and I rushed the and I go to my boss. There is a mistake, a blunder mistake, all those things. Board of directors shocked. They understood that there was a mistake. They thought did a mistake in the previous year. I'm not there. Our boss told it is not a mistake. This is some adjustment. He had covered that issue. After that, I told that yes, you have identified the mistake, but don't mention that in a publicly though that mistake publicly. Just inform to the person. Leave it like this. Have identified some mistake in a return which was filed by other person. Just inform to the client. Leave it. You are not at all responsible to rectify. That is not your job, right? Your job is filing return to the current year, not rectifying the mistakes in the previous. So yes, you have identified the mistake in the previous year. Just inform. If any error or omission are discovered on the previous year return, preparer is required to inform to the taxpayer of the mistake and explain the potential consequences. Inform to him and explain to him the potential consequences. That's it. You are not at all, however, the preparer is not obligated to fix the error. You are not at all responsible to fix means rectify that error, because you are responsible to file the return for the current year, not to rectify the mistake. Do that thing. Don't do this like this. Go to the client and go informing that that previous year auditor is a waste fellow or something, has not did a good job. All mistakes are there. I have identified. All those things are professionally not good. Just inform the mistake, inform the consequence. You are not obligated to fix the error. Sir, what about if that mistake has a impact in the current year? Yes, if that mistake has an impact in the current year, take that impact and rectify the impact in the current year. You are not at all responsible to the error in the previous year. If it has an impact in the current year, take that impact and rectify that impact in the current year. Utilize the previous year return can help to identify and prevent major mathematical mistakes So, if you have any calculation mistakes or alert prepare any issues that may impact the current year return, then you can edit. During the review process, preparer must also consider the items from the previous year that may have an effect in the current year return. Yes, if you have any mistakes in the previous year that have an effect in the current year, consider that impact. So, what are the things that going to affect in the current year? First one is the carryovers. What is this carryover? Carryover means the closing balances will carry over to opening balances. Consider that carryovers. Next one is the net operating losses. What are those net operating losses? If previous year has a loss, that loss can be adjusted with the current year, has an impact in the current year, consider that loss. Tax credits carryovers. Tax credits example, previous year alternative minimum tax credit. What is this alternative minimum tax? So we have a separate chapter for alternative minimum tax. For now, I will explain little bit. So alternative minimum tax means paying the minimum tax when it is when our actual tax liability is less than certain amount, or if there is no actual tax liability because it is a loss. So government has given so many deductions. After adjusting the deductions, we are getting the loss or we are getting the low tax when compared to the certain minimum amount of tax. So you need to pay a certain minimum amount of whatever the certain level government has fixed, certain tax you need to pay. Even you are not obligation, you have no obligation to pay the tax, you need to pay that certain amount of tax. For example, your tax liability is 10,000, but government has fixed you need to pay minimum $25,000. So even after calculating, after adjusting all deductions, your tax liability, actual tax liability after following all the rules and regulations is 10,000, but government is saying you need to pay minimum tax of 25,000. So when compared to actual tax, it is shortfalling with the minimum tax. So when compared with the minimum tax, it is actual tax is shortfalling. So you need to pay 25,000. What is the excess amount you have paid? 15,000 is the excess amount you have paid to the government, even you are not obligated. The government will use this 50,000 as a credit. So whatever the amount you are paying is the alternative minimum tax. So what is the alternative minimum tax credit? It is the excess amount you are paying compared to actual tax, that is 15,000. That is the alternative minimum tax credit. Government will give the credit to you, will credit to your account. You can use that 15,000 in the next years when your actual tax liability is exceeding the minimum tax. You can adjust this 15,000, pay the remaining. So I will explain the AMT in detailed manner in the later topic. Just for now, government will give the alternative minimum tax credit, that is carry forward to next year. You can adjust that alternative minimum tax credit in next year. So it is also have impact in the next year. So previous year's alternative minimum tax you need to consider because it will be adjusted in the current year. The actual tax is high. So you need to consider the alternative minimum tax credit. Then last one, previous year depreciation and asset base. So as previous year closing WDV becomes the current year opening WDV. If the previous, I have given an example article. So if depreciation calculation is wrong in the previous years, the depreciation calculation is wrong in the previous years, the WDV is the wrong closing WDV. That becomes the opening WDV to the current year. So consider that mistake because that mistake has an impact, that calculation mistake depreciation has an impact in the current year. You need to consider. So these are all the mistakes, these are all the items which have an impact in the current year. So what are the items? Carryovers, net operating losses, tax credits like alternative minimum tax credits, previous year depreciation calculations and asset basis. So this is topic number 1. What are the things we have learned in topic number 1? First one, before you are going to file a tax return for the tax preparer, you need to take a previous year's data. What is previous year's data? Previous year data means obtain previous year tax return, file tax return, and verify that return to identify the omissions or mistakes or items which have an effect or impact on the current year. So first of all, obtain the previous year tax return is your obligatory as per tax laws, and for accuracy and completeness and compliance of the return. If you have identified any errors or omissions discovered in the previous year return, just inform to the client and explain the potential consequences. If he have rectified it, if you have not rectified it, is not your responsibility. What is your responsibility? Inform to the client, that's it. Whether he has rectified or whether he has not rectified the previous year return, it is not at all your responsibility. You don't bother. Don't bother about that. Your responsibility is to inform to the client. If it has any impact in the current year, adjust the current year. You are not at all responsible, or don't bother about the previous year. Just inform, explain the consequences, leave it. Sir, if any mistake has an impact in the current year, yes, consider that mistake. What are the things which have an impact in the current year? Carryovers, net operating losses, tax credits. This is topic number 1. We can expect one question from topic number 1. So I have framed from classroom, some classroom MCQs. So just stop the video or pause the video, study for 1 minute. Let's practice some MCQ. First MCQ, this is a classroom test. I will explain each and every MCQ in the classroom test. After completing the class, you can practice the classroom test without by yourselves. And also there is a PT is there on these topics, and the similar MCQs also framed, that is a practice test. You can definitely answer practice test also if you have followed my class. Why is reviewing previous year tax returns important for tax professionals? Why is reviewing previous year tax returns important for tax professional? Meaning, so I am the tax professional. Why it is important for me to review the previous year tax return? Option A, it helps to identify potential errors and omissions. First. Option B, it provides a way to generate more revenue by amending the previous year return. Good. Very nice, right? By identifying the mistakes, amending the previous year return, we'll get to current year by fees for filing current year, for amending previous. No, it is not your responsibility, it is not your duty. Hope can't identify. Inform. So B is not right. B is not right. It ensures the taxpayer is not practicing tax evasion. So see, I verify, I review previous year data to identify the mistakes and omission, not to stop the tax evasion of the taxpayer. It is not at all the objective of reviewing previous year return. It is not the concept of reviewing, not to stop the tax evasion of the taxpayer. It is not. C is not. It allows the preparer to fix the mistake by the taxpayer. It allows the preparer to fix the mistake. I will not fix the mistake, right? I just inform and explain the consequence. It is not my responsibility to fix the mistake. I will not fix. Then what is the answer? Here is the answer. I have already explained it. Being it is the first question, explain. But for second question, you need to participate. Tell the answer. Okay? Here is the answer. This is the explanation. Right. Second question. A tax preparer discovers an omission. He has identified omission in previous year client's previous year return. Okay, he has found out some mistake previous year return related to the tax credit. What should the preparer do? What should he do? The responsibility. A, report the omission to the IRS directly. Oh, okay. I will not tell any options, and I will just explain the options. You need to tell the answer. Properly inform to the client on the omission and its a potential impact. Inform to the client and its impact. File an amended return without notifying to the client, without telling to the client. You have to file the amended return. Ignore the mistake since it is from previous. A, B, C, D. What is your answer? Type your answer in the comment section. Type your answer in the comment section. Question number 2, answer. Type your answer in the comment section. So, okay, I will explain. So, what is the question? If you have identified some mistake in the previous year, then what is your duty? Inform to the client and explain the potential consequence. What is the first option? Report to the omission to the IRS. Wrong. What is the second option? Promptly inform the client the omission and its a potential impact. Right. File an amended return without notifying to the client. Wrong. We will not file any amendment. Ignore the omission since it's from previous year. Wrong. Then what is the answer? B is the answer. Option B is the answer. So many students have got the right answer. Congratulations. Very good. 3. A tax preparer has discovered a significant error on the client's previous year return. Yes, he has discovered an error, but the client do not want to pay for an amended tax return, do not want to amend the tax return. That is his choice. My duty is to inform, explain the consequence. What is the preparer's responsibility in this scenario? I have identified the mistake, I have informed to the client, but client don't want to amend the return. That is his choice. If the client refuses to correct the error, the preparer must report the error to the IRS. Second option, option B. Tax practitioners are obligated to fix an error they discovered on the previous year return. The preparer must inform to the taxpayer the error and its potential consequences. However, the preparer is not obligated to correct the error. If the client refuses to correct the error, the preparer must always disengage from the client. Disengage means leave the client and go away. That is disengage. What is your answer? Type your answer in the comments. Type your answer in the comments. How identified? You have informed to the client, think, rectified or amended the tax. Then what is your response? Option A, inform to IRS. Option B, fix the error. Option C, inform to the client and explain the potential consequence. You are not at all responsible to rectify. Option D, leave the client and go away. So what is your answer? C is your answer. Inform to the client, and explain the potential consequences of that mistake. And however, the preparer is not responsible. To correct the error. Right. So many students got the right answer. Congratulations. This is the explanation. Even you can find these MCQs in the CT software. You have a free access to that software for few topics. You get a full course, you to purchase the course. So prices very low. I've mentioned the prices. We have two types of coaching, fast track coaching, detailed coaching. In fast track coaching, I will not explain any MCQ, just explain the concept, practice, by yourself. And for full detailed coaching, I explain each and every MCQ, every concept. The prices are very low and very reasonable with MCQs, along with the MCQ. I have prepared the MCQs and the material based on HOC because we are the authorized partners of PASKIS. So, which of the following items would not be considered from previous year data? Of the following items would not be considered from previous year data. What is the concept? These are the items we should consider compulsorily. What are the items we should consider compulsorily? Carryovers, net operating losses, tax credits, previous year depreciation and asset basis. So that is opening WB. So with the answer should be the answer. Actually, whatever the things I have mentioned here, so these are the correct answers. So what is the question actually? What are the items should not? This is a negative question, right? Should find out the things. What are the things So the following items would not be considered, from previous year data. Hobby expenses, yes, it is not found out in that list. The answer should be not from that list. If it is in that list, that is not the answer, because the question is would not be considered. Carryovers, it is from the list. Carryovers is there. Suspended passive losses, it is also there. It is also there. That's why it is not the answer. Previous year depreciation, yes, it is also there from the list. So this is not the answer. What is not there from the list? Hobby expenses in excess of hobby income. You don't know about the hobby expenses and hobby income. I will explain in the later topics. For now, we have a blind thing that if the thing which is not there from the list is the answer. A is the answer because it is not there from the list. Right? A is the answer. Very simple question. A is the answer. Which of the following situations not required a preparer to review a taxpayer's previous year return? This is also simple. The taxpayer tax credits, it is there from the list. Taxpayer was a full-time student. No, I will not consider this information from previous year tax return. Carryovers, yes, I will consider the carryovers from the previous year data. Taxpayers own rental property with the previous year depreciation, yes, previous year depreciation, I will consider it. So what is the thing you should not consider from the previous year tax return? Taxpayers full-time student. So the taxpayers was a full-time student is a personal information, not the previous year's tax return information. I will consider that information, but it is not from the previous year tax return. It is from the personal biographical information. That is our next topic. So thing is, what is the item? It is not from the list. The option B. Option B is not from the list. Previous year data is the answer. These are all the negative questions. Explanation. So this is the topic number 1. So there are 5 classroom test questions. How can you practice these questions? Of course, you have learned the questions in the classroom itself. After completing the class, practice the questions by yourself without seeing the without seeing. So how can you practice? Log on, or you can install our Target Academy app. We are from the Target Academy. I am Praveen. So I'm in a teaching for past 10 years. This is our app, Target Academy app. Log into the Target Academy app for free of cost. So in that, go to the batches. In that batches, you have a year demo batch. In the demo batch, you will find these videos. In that videos, you will find the classes, 2 topics. If you want classes for the all topics, you need to purchase the course. And also you can find the MCQs for a few topics. This is topic number 1. Click on topic number 1 and read the terms and conditions. Next, and agree to the terms, attempt the test. So why is the reviewing previous year returns is important for tax professionals? Yes, we have learned this one. Helps to identify potential errors. See this is the software actually. In your main exam also, like this software will be also question. Everything like this will be similar, not as it is. We have designed this software based on the prometric exam. We are in a teaching MAOSA and ACCA, and also we are in a teaching for past 5 years in the yes. That's why we have designed it in a very similar manner and also similar manner of the main. By practicing this, you can easily attempt the exam without any fear. So after that, question number 2, save and next. I will choose any option because I know the answer, but no, I will choose it. I know it is the wrong answer. I will choose anything, carry over. So all 5 questions got completed. Right now we have explained 5 questions. This is the classroom test. So on these topics, I have also prepared some practice test questions. I will also show that question. Submit test. I got a 2 marks out of 5 marks. Total 5 questions, correct answers 2, incorrect answers 3. Few solutions. Click on view solutions. You will get the answer for each and every question. That is the explanation. So you have mentioned ignore, but the right answer is B. Get each with explanation. You have not explained anything, you have not got anything, or you have not understood anything, you can contact me in the description. Get the phone numbers. I will explain like this. Then what about PT? What about PT? Exit. Exit. Yeah, test. This is a PT. Similar questions I have framed. You need to answer. You need to answer these questions. Total, we have a 6 questions. On the similar, actually based on the similar topic, based on the topic 1 only, I have prepared this the practice test. You have to practice it after listening to my class and after practicing practice. Okay, let's start with the topic number 2. So this is topic number 2, taxpayers biographical information. Means a taxpayer's personal information. So right now you have obtained the previous year data. Right now we have obtained the previous year data and you have verified that data. After that, you need to obtain a taxpayers personal information. Why we need to personal information? Because that is their personal information. Nobody wants to share their privacy. Why you need it? So to file the income tax return, we should have that personal information. That personal, because there are different types of statuses. There, there are different types of forms for different types of status. The client is a single, there are separate slab rates are there. If the client is married and want to file the joint return, there are separate slab rates are there. So you need to get if the client is from different state, they have different taxes. The client is not a US citizen, foreigner, they have a separate filing, resident. So there are separate forms for the separate statuses to get the date of birth, address, ID proofs, ID numbers, identification number, and their name, legal name, their address, and their dependency. All those things is the personal information. Get that personal information, then only you can file the income tax return. Sir, of course, will client share their personal information? And share? Nobody wants to share the personal information generally. But they will share the personal information to you because you need to maintain confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Confidentiality means not to share that information to other parties. If the professional or tax preparer share the client's personal information to other parties, you are legally responsible. You will get the civil and criminal charges. You need to maintain a professional ethics. You should not share. You are not allowed to share. You are not allowed to share. You are prohibited to share the personal information is collected from the client to other parties. So in exam, they have asked this question. One of the tax preparer share the personal information of the client to other party. What is the consequences for this thing? Consequences is nothing but he has to face a criminal and civil charge. Even if you are not shared, you just you have taken the personal information from the client and you have placed that information in the table, which is visible to everyone. Somebody came and verified the data and they got the data and they went away. You have not shared, but you have not stored that information in a secured and confidential manner. You should store that information in a secure and confidential, not share, and also you should share in a proper manner. Should store in a proper manner. Should not allowed to share, and if you have to store in a proper manner. Okay, that is your responsibility. So let's see the concept. What are the things you need to obtain? Taxpayer biographical information, nothing but personal information. While filing the tax return, certain biographical information of the client is required. Yes, we should require certain personal information to file the return. Tax professional must collect this information from each taxpayer to prepare accurate tax return. Yes, we should take that personal information. What are this personal information? First one is the legal name, not your nickname. Chintu, Bunty, Kanna, Bujji, not these names. Your legal name as per the document, legal documents. Date of birth, here your original date of birth, not your fake date of birth, as per documents. And your marital status, whether you were married or single. Residential status. We have a separate concept for residential status. For now, I will just explain light manner. There are three types of residential status: US citizen resident, resident alien, and non-resident alien. There are three types of. So I will explain in a detailed manner in a later topics. For your citizenship, dependent information. So if anybody are depending on you, staying with you, that information, the details of them. And taxpayers identification numbers. So what are those identification numbers? They are US government will give the identification numbers for giving some social benefits and to file the return. They will issue different numbers to different parties. These are these numbers: SSN, ITIN, ATIN, IP pin. So IP pin is for to protect the identity theft. I will explain it later. Photo ID proofs and address. So what are the things? Tell with me. Participate. Legal name, date of birth, marital status, residential status, dependent information, photo IDs, ID proofs, addresses, ID numbers. What are those ID numbers? First one is the SSN, second one is the ITIN, individual taxpayer identification number. Third one is the ATIN, adoption taxpayers identification number. Fourth one is the IP pin, identity protection identification number, personal identification number, IP pin. So let's discuss about this identification numbers. First one is the SSN. What is the full form of SSN? Social security number. Social security number. Only US citizen and resident alien will get this number. Only US citizens and resident aliens will get this number. US government will not issue SSN to non-residents or foreigners. Only for US citizens and residents, lawfully admitted non-citizens, that means residents, aliens, authorized to work in United States, that means resident aliens, are eligible for SSNs. They are only eligible. Sir, you need to have some unique number which is issued by US government to file the income tax return. I am not a US citizen, I am not a resident alien, then they are not issuing SSN. How can I file the return, sir? Very simple. Those who are not eligible to get SSN, they have to apply for ITIN. Then what is ITIN? Full form: individual taxpayers identification number, ITIN. A taxpayer who are not eligible to obtain SSN must apply for ITIN in order to file the US tax return. Person who is not eligible means he is not a US citizen and he is not a resident alien. So we have a separate topic: lawfully admitted non-citizens authorized to work in United States, nothing but a resident alien. Sir, he is not a resident alien, he is not a US citizen, then he need to obtain ITIN, file you income tax return. So that means non-resident aliens with a US tax liability. You are the non-resident alien and you have a tax liability in US. You need to file the return in US. Don't apply for SSN, they will not give. Apply for ITIN. You have to apply ITIN. So, although not always. So, what is although not always? Sir, generally, let's take example. generally ITIN is applied by non-residents. Sometimes ITIN will also apply by US citizens. What is this, sir? US citizen will apply SSN, right? They are eligible for SSN. Why he is applying for ITIN? Sir, generally ITIN is applied by non-residents. Generally, not always. Generally, not always. Not always. Not always means even US citizen can apply for ITIN. Why? Why? He is eligible to SSN, right? Why he is applying ICN? Very simple. US citizen is there. He married one woman who is a foreigner, not US citizen. Okay, fine. He will get SSN, right? Yes, he will get SSN. But that his wife, his spouse will not get SSN. So what? So what means you want to file a joint return? You want to file a joint return. That person want to file a joint return, even though he has SSN. He wanted to file a joint return, but his spouse is not a US citizen. They will not get SSN for jointly. That's why that US citizen have to apply for ITIN. US citizen have to apply for the ITIN. That is the exception. Study now. See now. Generally non-resident aliens will apply for ITIN. Not always means US citizen, Mr. R is the US citizen having SSN, married to foreign spouse. You want to file a joint return, so you need to apply for ITIN. Even though he is a US citizen, he is applying for ITIN. That means only non-residents will apply for ITIN is not correct. Sometimes US citizens, residents apply for ITIN in that special case. Generally non-residents apply for ITIN. Sometimes US citizen applicable, so may apply for ITIN in that following special. People who do not have lawful status in United States may obtain ITIN. Yes, people who do not have a lawful status in ITIN because they are illegally came to USA. They are earning money. They don't have any lawful status. Their permit is over. Their visa permit is over. Even they are staying there illegally. Even though we are not bother about illegality or legality, you need to file the income tax return. I will give the ITIN. I will means IRS will give the ITIN. Apply ITIN, file the return. Sir, I am illegally staying in you. We don't bother about legality. Apply ITIN, file the return. I have issued the ITIN to that person who is staying illegally or who have no lawful status. Can he claim he is legally working in USA? No. We are giving ITIN to file the return. That means we are not allowing you to lawfully work, or we are not allowing to lawfully stay in USA. We are just giving ITIN to file the return. So that is, he is saying, issuing of ITIN does not affect any individual migration status. That will not affect your individual migration status. Lawful means lawful. Issuing ITIN will not make good. Give the taxpayer right to work in the United States. No, it will not give. I am giving ITIN to file the return, not to permit you to work. Taxpayer within ITIN not eligible to receive social security benefits. No, I am giving ITIN to file the return. You will not get any benefits. You will not get any lawful status. You will not get any permit to work. ITIN are for federal tax reporting only and not intended to serve any other purpose. They are only just for file the income tax return, not to give any lawful status, not to give any permit to work, not to give any social benefits. Okay. Then what is IP PIN? Nowadays, identity theft is growing widely across the world. In India, we have a control, Aadhaar OTP. Aadhaar OTP. Even you have shared your Aadhaar card or Aadhaar number or PAN card, anything, while filing your return, your Aadhaar linked phone number will get the OTP. Only by entering that OTP, you can file the return through your Aadhaar number. Aadhaar number is a unique number like SSN or ITI. But in USA, it is not there earlier days. So many people have misused the SSN ITN of the other person. They have used that other person ITN or other person's SSN to claim the social benefits and to file the IT returns. That is called identity theft. Even in 10 years back, I have also um, faced this problem. I don't know. In my name, there are 5 phone numbers have taken, cell numbers, without my consent. Because in earlier days, there is no other authentication and fingerprint verification for giving the cell phone connection, SIM connection. Just uploading of Aadhaar Xerox copy, PAN Xerox copy, cellular connection. They have taken my Aadhaar card from where else, Xerox copy. They have taken the without me. But right nowadays, there should be a fingerprint authorization there to issue there is no chances of identity protection. Like that, US government has introduced so to stop the misuse of SSN numbers and ITN numbers of one person used by other person, they have introduced this concept IP pin. What is the full form of IP pin? Identity Protection Personal Identification Number. Identity Protection Personal Identification Number. The name itself saying it is meant to protect the identity. It is issued to protect the identity theft. Nowadays, anybody can apply for IP pin, but in earlier days, only the person who are victims of identity theft can apply. But nowadays, anybody can apply. Identity fraud is growing problem for IRS, which issue identity protection personal identity numbers to taxpayers who have reported their victims to identity theft. I have reported to IRS. I am the victim of identity theft. So you can apply. Nowadays, anybody can apply. The IRS will give the information and verifies the identity and add an identity theft indicator applied to their accounts. They verify the data. And an IP pin is good for only 1 year. They issue the IP pin and it is valid for only 1 year. For next year, you need to apply once again. It is designated to protect the taxpayer's social security number. What is the objective of giving IP pin? To protect the SSN number. If the taxpayer with the IP pin attempts to file the return, so return will be rejected. If you have applied the IP pin and IRS have issued the IP pin, you can't file the return only with the SSN. Along with the SSN, you need to enter IP pin. Then only the return will be filed. If anybody have misused your SSN number, but they don't know IP pin of yours, should not share it, right? They can't file the return because they can't use the SSN. Return will be filed only with IP pin, SSN plus IP pin. Nowadays, it is available to everyone, not only to the person who are victims of identity. Anybody can apply to the IP pin. So what is the simple IP pin issued to protect the identity fraud? It is a pin number. File the return, you need to enter IP pin next to the signature box along with the SSN number. Without entering the IP pin next to the signature box, you can't file the. Those who has applied the IP pin must and should enter the IP pin next to the signature. Those who are not and applied is not necessary. What is 18? Adoption taxpayers identification number. So what is 18? Adoption taxpayers identification number. Simple. If you have adopted a child who is not born to you, or you have married to a woman who has already child that is not your child, you need to adopt legally adopted child. So after adoption, you want to file a return, you can get the directions for the child, but the child should have a identification number. If you have adopted, it will take time to get the SSN or ITIN. For the time being, you need to file the return. You can apply for ATIN, adoption taxpayers identification number, for temporary purpose. Very simple. You can take that ATIN for adopted child for temporary purpose. Simple. ATIN is the temporary identification number. It is designed explicitly for adoption child. adoption child. It is explicit for adoption child who are not yet eligible for SSN, who are not yet eligible for SSN. The ATIN is required using, so how can you obtain ATIN? The form number is W7A. By using W7A, you can apply for ATIN, taxpayer identification number, providing US adoption. For adopted child who does not have SSN, the taxpayer may request for ATIN. If the child is placed with the taxpayer's home for legal adoption, it is only for legal adoption. Legal adoption is domestic adoption, and adoption is a foreign legal adoption. So maybe you have adopted the US child or foreign child, it should be legal. And the child has a permanent resident alignment card or certificate of citizenship. There should be some legal document for the child. And taxpayer cannot obtain child's existing SSN even though he has made a reasonable attempt to obtain it from the birth parents or place agency or other persons. From the parents you have adopted a child, or from the agency you have adopted that child, whatever the case may be, you have tried to obtain SSN number but you have failed, then obtain for ATIN for temporary purpose for the time being. The taxpayer cannot obtain SSN for other reason such as adoption not being final. So if the adoption is not being final or if the adoption is illegal, you can't obtain ATIN. ATIN issued for adopted child will expire after 2 years. It is valid for 2 years only. Although an extension can be required, you can file the extension. IRS form number 15100 is the adoption taxpayer identification number extension request. ATIN cannot be used to obtain earned income tax credit and child tax credit or American opportunity tax credit. ATIN will not be used to get the tax credit. You need to obtain ITIN to get cash tax credit. Very simple concept. ATIN means adoption taxpayers identification number. The name itself saying it is given to the adopted child for temporary purpose. So because if the temporary adopted child is not getting the SSN, for ATIN. Simple. So SSN means issued to the US citizen or resident alien. ATIN means non-resident alien, and IP pin means to protect the identity theft, and ATIN means adopted child. Taxpayers' biographical information do not include income or adjusted gross total income. So overall taxpayers' personal information, what are things you are getting? Name, address, marital status, residential status, date of birth, dependent information, identification numbers. Where is the income details here? It does not include any income details. That is what he is saying. So biographical information will not it does not include any income detail. A preparer who wrongly discloses the taxpayer's information could face a legal and civil and criminal charges. Preparers wrongly discloses the information, he will face the civil and criminal charges. The personal and financial information of taxpayer is considered highly sensitive and confidential. Taxpayer must understand the importance and processing the information and take all necessary precautions to ensure it remains securely. Should not throw the information on the table which is visible to everyone. Should store it securely because it is a confidential information, right? So if you have acted negligently, you have shared that information voluntarily, you will face civil or criminal. So this is the topic. Let's see the MCQs on this topic. Mr. K, who is a US citizen and married foreigner, he is a US citizen eligible for SSN, but he married a foreigner. Spouse is a foreigner. He want to file a joint return. What is the identification number you need to obtain? Option A, SSN. Option B, ITIN. Option C, ATIN. Option D, PAN. Very simple. Not SSN. ITIN. He will obtain. He should obtain ITIN. So generally, US citizen has SSN. Non-resident alien with the US citizen generally have ITIN, although not always. If US citizen want to file a joint return along with the non-resident spouse, he need to obtain ITIN. Very simple explanation. Mr. J, who is a German citizen, and he purchased a property in USA and receiving rent. What does it mean? He is having the income in USA and he has a tax liability in USA. He need to file the return in USA, but he is the German citizen, not a US citizen. He never went to USA. Okay, fine. He is a non-resident alien. What is the number he need to obtain for to file the income tax return? SSN, no. ITIN, ATIN, PAN. Very simple. ITIN. ITIN. Because he is a non-resident alien, he should obtain ITIN, not a citizen of. Mr. Z, who is a US citizen and having SSN. He is a US citizen having SSN. His identity is SSN is that is SSN is used by other person. Identity theft by fraudulent manner. What is the solution to him to protect his identity? File a case, cancel SSN or obtain new SSN? No. There is only one SSN number like other. Obtain IP pin? Ignore. Very simple. He is a victim of identity fraud. Obtain IP pin. Protector. Obtain IP pin. C is that. So he is a victim of identity fraud. Obtain IP pin. The answer. Taxpayer biographical information does not include. Does not include. Date of birth. It will include. The question is does not include. Citizenship. It will include. So it is not the answer. Adjusted gross total income. S will not include. Does not include. Address. It will include. C is the answer. Adjusted gross total. Not include. Does not include some detail. Which identification number need to obtain for a child in a domestic adoption where the parents are unable to obtain SSN? So they have adopted a child, but they are unable to obtain SSN. Then what is the number they need to? SSN? No. IP pin? No. ITIN? No. 18. Adoption taxpayer identification number. S. D is the answer. D is the answer. 18 is adopted by the adopted. So that is the topic number 2. Yes, we have another topic linked to topic number 2. So ITIN application process. Very simple. So we have a form number W7. W7 is for 18. W7 is for ITIN application process. In the next class, I will explain the application process of ITIN. What is the steps? For now, what is the form number? What is the form number? What is the form number to apply for ITIN? So it is W7. W7. So what is the IRS form to be used to apply for ITIN? Form 1128, Form 13115, Form W7, Form 5112. Form W7 is the answer. So in the next class, I will explain the process of application of ITIN. Yes. So for now, practice CT for topic number 2 and topic number 1. Practice CT for topic number 2 and topic number 1. Practice CT. So there is a CT for topic number 1, PT for topic number 1. So CT for topic number 2, PT for topic number 2. Complete that topics. So in the next class, I will explain application process and start the topic number 3. Topic number 3 is regarding tax rates and forms, tax form, lab rates. We'll meet in the next class.